During World War II, the United States was a neutral country. The day after the attack on December 8, 1941, the United States officially joined the Allies in World War II as a result of the attack on Hawaii and other American territories. The United States and Japan had been negotiating the future of the Pacific for months before the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Empire of Japan. The United States was asked to lift its sanctions against Japan, stop supporting China in the Second Sino-Japanese War, and give Japan access to the Dutch East Indies resources, among other things. Japan dispatched its naval attack groups in November 1941, just before it received the Hull Note, which stated that the United States wanted Japan to leave China and French Indochina, in anticipation of a negative reaction. The attack was planned by Japan as a preventative measure. Its goal was to keep the U.S. Pacific Fleet from interfering with the intended military operations in Southeast Asia against the United States, the United Kingdom, and Dutch territorial territories abroad. Japan launched coordinated attacks on the British Empire in Malaya, Singapore, and Hong Kong, as well as the United States held Philippines, Guam, and Wake Island over 7 hours. The attack on Pearl Harbor started at 7:48 a.m. Hawaiian time, launched from 6 aircraft carriers. 353 Imperial Japanese aircraft, including fighters, level and dive bombers, and torpedo bombers, attacked the base in 2 waves. 4 of the 8 battleships from the U.S. Navy that were there were sunk, and all 8 were damaged. 6 of them returned to service and continued to fight in the war, while all but USS Arizona were later raised. 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, an anti-aircraft training ship, and 1 mine layer were also sunk or damaged by the Japanese. Over 180 American planes were destroyed. It was the deadliest event ever documented in Hawaii, with 2,403 Americans killed and 1,178 injured. Aside from that, it was the deadliest foreign attack on the United States until the 9/11 attacks in 2001. The submarine piers and headquarters building, also housing the intelligence section, were not attacked, nor were key base installations like the power station, dry dock, shipyard, maintenance, and facilities for storing fuel and torpedoes. Japanese casualties were minimal, with 64 servicemen killed, 29 planes, and 5 midget submarines lost. The commanding officer of one of the submarines, Kazuo Sakamaki, was taken prisoner. Later that day, December 8th, Tokyo time, Japan declared war on the United States and the British Empire, but the declarations were not delivered until the next day. After hearing that their territory had been attacked, the British government promptly declared war on Japan, and the U.S. Congress did the same the next day, on December 8th. Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy each declared war on the United States on December 11th, even though they were not legally required to do so by the Tripartite Pact with Japan. Even though there were historical precedents for Japan's unexpected military action, the Hague Convention of 1907's requirement for formal warning and the belief that the attack was unprovoked led then President Franklin D. Roosevelt to famously refer to December 7, 1941 as a day which will live in infamy in the opening of his speech to a joint session of Congress the following day. I appreciate you taking the time to consider this somber period of our history with me today. If you thought this was important, Please share your thoughts in the comments below. You can also think about subscribing to ensure you do not miss any more episodes. We can keep investigating and learning from the events that mold our world if we work together. Finally, let us never forget Pearl Harbor and pay tribute to the freedom fighters' legacy. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Remember Pearl Harbor.